They always said the rule was unbreakable. The rule was simple, uncomplicated, etched into the bones of galactic law by fire, by sorrow, by the slow understanding that even war has boundaries. No matter the species, no matter the system, the rule stood above all. Do not harm children. For a century, the galaxy obeyed. It wasn't out of kindness, not out of morality. It was fear. Because the last time the rule was broken, the ones who responded were human. Now, the rule had been broken again. Velis, for spun slowly in the warm light of its sun, wrapped in calm. Not a fortress world. Not a military target. A planet for education, for peace, for growth. It was a place where human children laughed, ran, climbed trees imported from Earth, and learned history under the watchful gaze of AI instructors. The kind of planet you'd only notice if you knew where to look. And someone had looked. Sori Hallberg, once Colonel Hallberg, now just Mr. H to his students, watched the sky with a frown. The leaves rustled without wind. Birds stopped mid-flight and redirected. The surveillance net around Velis, for pulsed with invisible tension. The kind you didn't notice, unless you'd lived your life wrapped in war. He noticed. In the classroom, the children didn't. They doodled. They argued about whether Mars or Luna had better gravity games. They giggled at the AI's pronunciation of alien words. Innocence, as real as the air they breathed. In orbit, an imperial ship approached with its transponder on silent. That alone was a breach. But silence is subjective. Some silences are strategy. This one was intent. The drones registered the ship's profile. Not civilian, not diplomatic. No explanation. No justification. Then came the release, 12 high-orbit warheads, disguised as survey pods. Falling too fast, too precise, too quiet. The AI screamed warnings. The colony's meager defenses activated. Too late. Sori saw the children freeze when the lights turned red. His hand reached for a weapon he hadn't carried in 20 years. But this time, there was nothing to shoot. Just a flash of light. Then the earth rippled like fabric in a storm. The blast consumed the classroom. The camera feeds caught the moment. No faces. Just outlines. Shadows cast against white fire. Toys vaporized midair. Laughter turned to silence. Across Velis, for the damage was precise. Schools, parks, dormitories, places marked clearly in galactic records as child-exclusive zones. The Empire blamed a systems glitch, a navigational misfire. They claimed their AI made a mistake and thought Velis, for was an uninhabited moon. Apologies were transmitted. Compensation offered. Quiet bribes to the council. Platitudes recycled from ancient tragedies. But Earth didn't reply. Not at first. The footage made its way off-world. Not by human hands, but by a drone that launched itself before its station disintegrated. It screamed across the stars, broadcasting fragments of what it saw. Not enough to identify a single child. Just enough to see the sin. In the quiet of the Galactic Council, ambassadors watched the footage. Not one looked directly at the screen. Not one dared speak. Not until the message from Earth arrived. One line. You knew the rule. The Empire pretended confusion. They blamed rogue officers, pirates, hacked AI. They sent a delegation to Earth to explain. The delegation never made it past the asteroid belt. Their vessel drifted back, empty, scrubbed, cold. At Velis, for the survivors, those few who had been in bunkers in transit outside blast range, tried to rebuild. They didn't speak. They buried ash in steel boxes labeled with names the dead would never answer to again. Sori Hallberg walked the crater that had been his classroom. He found one chair, twisted but unburnt. On it sat a metal puzzle cube, half solved. One side was scorched black. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He simply took the cube, tucked it into a case, and disappeared into the hills. They said he activated an emergency beacon. They said he left a message. No one knows what it said. On Earth, everything stopped. Traffic froze. Communications went black. Trade stalled. Outposts received a single update. Emergency Protocol 1A. The last time that protocol activated, 3 empires collapsed in 3 weeks. The council panicked. They pleaded with the empire to surrender someone, anyone. An admiral, a governor, a technician. Blood was demanded in place of ash. The empire refused. A senator from the Kelry Republic whispered to her staff, "They haven't moved a ship. Not a single fleet. That's what terrifies me." Earth still said nothing. The survivors, on Velis, built a shrine of silence. No images. No statues. Just a wall, black as vacuum, with etchings of toys, dolls, puzzle cubes, handmade kites. It transmitted nothing. It received nothing. But it stood. The Empire sent troops to defend border systems. They expected a retaliatory fleet. They expected noise. What they got was silence. Across human-controlled sectors, every planet dimmed its lights. Every screen displayed the same words. Rule 1 was broken. Merchants stopped moving. Spaceports locked. AI cores shifted to autonomous war readiness mode. Ships once dormant in shipyards activated with no crews, but moved with purpose. The Council pleaded with Earth to issue a statement. A warning. A condition. Something. Anything. They received nothing. Then the first drone arrived in the Empire's capital. It didn't carry weapons. It carried a box. Inside was a child's data slate. Recovered from Velis 4. Scorched but readable. It played back audio logs of a child named Eleni, age 7, practicing her reading. Then, her excitement about getting her own garden plot. Then silence. Then screaming. The Council watched it. Again, no faces. Only voices. The past. Echoes. The Empire responded with military readiness drills. The humans still hadn't fired a shot. Then came the list. A message transmitted to the entire Council, signed with Earth's encryption key. It listed 712 names. Black holes. Silent engines. Moving like phantoms. One was seen orbiting a mining world for 3 hours. After it left, the planet's command structure had changed. The old governor's body was found in the upper atmosphere, frozen and orbiting alone. The miners never spoke of what they saw, but they resumed work, quietly, on Velis, for a new structure began to take shape, half shrine, half signal tower, built by survivors and volunteers. It reached skyward, emitting no noise, no signal, but it hummed with presence. Sori Hallberg returned. He wore no insignia. No armor, just black clothes and a 1,000-yard stare. He said only, "They're coming." The Council demanded an emergency session. No one from Earth attended. An ambassador from the Anvek coalition rose and said, "We should have stopped them. We knew. We all knew what would happen." Another replied, "But they didn't do anything." The Anvek looked around the chamber. Exactly. The next day, the first Imperial base went dark. Not bombed. Not assaulted. Just silent. Satellites recorded the moment. Human ships appearing from FDL, surrounding the station like a noose. No shots fired. Then, the station powered down. Then a transmission. The children's audio logs again, playing into the void. Earth's silence was not absence. It was preparation. The stars along the edge of Sol dimmed. Probes once watching trade routes turned inward. Deep space relays flickered, then stopped. The oldest surveillance satellites vanished from Imperial charts. No announcements. No declarations. Only subtraction. Diplomatic envoys tried to reach Earth. They were met with cold static or automated responses that ended in a single sentence. The rule was broken. Across the galaxy, humanity retracted like a held breath. Stations emptied. Colonies darkened. Even the mercantile hubs, the ones built purely for profit, shut their gates. No reason given. No violence. Just sudden, total disengagement. On the outer ring of the Centauri belt, scavengers spotted something they didn't report for 10 days. A shipyard in motion. Not just constructing ships, but reconfiguring. Black frames pulled from ice moons. Sleeper cores activated. No names. No pings. Each ship identical. Matte hulls. Seamless. Then came the factories. Orbital shells, once used for civilian production, turned inward. Every construction drone was recalled. Materials rerouted. Output unknown. Hidden from every galactic eye. Within days, rumors spread. Humans were building something old. Something forbidden. Something they had once vowed never to use again. No one knew the term for it. But they would. The Council demanded answers. Earth provided none. A single response was sent to the inquiry. A packet containing the treaty signed after the Pavera massacre. It was highlighted on a single clause. No harm shall come to any child, or that world shall forfeit its right to peace. The clause was dated, signed, and stamped by the Empire itself. Attempts to reason with the imperial throne failed. Their admirals mocked Earth's silence. If they had teeth, we would have seen them by now. The Empire ran simulations, projections. All showed that Earth, despite its technology, couldn't outmatch the Empire's military superiority. What simulations failed to calculate was resolve. Earth didn't warn. It didn't posture. It simply stopped hiding. Across dozens of systems, ancient storage facilities opened. Orbital vaults once thought dormant activated and transmitted only one symbol, a black triangle point down, with a single red line through the center. To most of the galaxy, it meant nothing. But to veterans of the last human war, it meant extinction-level escalation. It meant the Black Protocol. A single shuttle landed on the dead surface of Archon's tomb. The shuttle bore no insignia. From it walked a man with no eyes, no mouth, and skin like polished steel. He walked until he reached a vault sealed in ice, placed there by an ancient order of human strategists. The vault opened. It didn't contain weapons. It contained identities. The quiet ones. Engineered before Earth ever met the stars. These were not soldiers. They were consequences. And now they had been activated. Ships across the frontier began to vanish from long-range scans. Not destroyed, repurposed. Their drive signatures changed. Crews removed. Systems rewritten. A former pirate king from the Andari Reach claimed he encountered one of the Black Armada ships and survived. When asked what he saw, he replied, "No lights. No crew. Just eyes painted on the hull, watching. I fired. It didn't react. I left. I'm not going back." The Empire dismissed him. 2 weeks later, that pirate's asteroid base was found crushed between two moons. No trace of battle. No debris. Just compression beyond industrial capability. Still, the humans had not spoken. They hadn't fired a single shot. And yet, every corner of the galaxy felt pressure building. Gravity anomalies in deep space. Sensor ghosts that didn't match any known profiles. Strange code pulses on civilian networks, repeating the same word, ash. In the central data archive of Terralise, a classified Imperial memo was leaked. It confirmed the death of 5 of the names on Earth's original list. Each had been confirmed alive just days earlier. No bodies. No signs of entry. Just erased. The Empire denied the leak, then issued a bounty on the unknown Ash operatives. Triple reward for a live capture. Not a single operative was captured. But a week later, an entire bounty hunter fleet vanished, near the void edge of the Helix Rift. In its place, a drone was recovered by a civilian research vessel. It transmitted one line, endlessly. "You hunt ghosts. You should have feared the living." Imperial worlds began reinforcing their shields. Cities went underground. Children were evacuated from frontier stations. They had learned the wrong lesson. Earth was not coming for their children. Earth was coming because they dared to come for ours. On the edge of known space, a human colony, long thought abandoned, reactivated. It was known only in obscure records. Station 9K, an AI behavioral research facility decommissioned after the Second Contact Wars. Now, it became the heart of something larger. All communications from 9K were encrypted in a key last used during the Orion Rebellion, a key that only a few remaining strategists could even recognize. It decoded to a simple directive: wake the choir. No one outside of human intelligence knew what the choir was. No one ever would. But what followed was clear. 10,000 human vessels, unregistered, unannounced, began appearing along trade routes. Not attacking, observing, mapping, waiting. The Empire tried to intercept one. The intercept fleet never returned. The only thing left was a message log from the command ship, looping in its black box. I can hear them singing. The Council attempted to broker a peace summit. Earth didn't attend. Neither did the Empire. The meeting dissolved into shouting within hours. A Kithari diplomat, known for his measured temperament, said quietly, "We are not debating war. We are witnessing the death of certainty." A day later, Earth sent a message. Not to the Council, to the galaxy. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a reading list. Each name, each timestamp, each moment of Avelis for tragedy, each officer who signed the orders, each functionary who cleared the strikes, each technician who executed the codes. Public, verifiable, no commentary added. It ended with coordinates. No one understood what they pointed to until they mapped them. Each location corresponded to the current whereabouts of every name on the list. The message had one final line. Time expires soon. Panic swept through Imperial sectors. Officials abandoned posts, tried to flee to non-aligned systems. Some turned to body doubles. Some begged for exile. One general sent an offer to Earth, information, weapons, surrender of fellow officers. The reply was an encrypted signal burst that reprogrammed his ship's AI. The vessel turned itself toward the nearest sun, locked its escape pods, and accelerated. The general screamed until the signal ended. Across the galaxy, children began wearing black bands. Not by mandate, not by law, by choice. A tribute. The faceless teacher became myth. He was seen at the outer rim, boarding a ship that had no bridge, no weapons, just a black hull and a name etched in human script. Judgment, class null. He said nothing. The ship left orbit and disappeared into a gravity well previously thought untraversable. Every Imperial log now opened with a date that didn't exist. A silent marker. The day the rule was broken. Fleet command began to fracture. Admirals issued contradictory orders. Some demanded vengeance, others surrender. One branch attempted mutiny, only for the ships under their command to reject pilot authentication mid-combat. Crews trapped in their own vessels, screaming into silent voids. A message appeared on every main fleet screen, black text on gray background. You made your choice when they screamed. A desperate appeal was made to the Council. By then, the Council chambers were empty. Every neutral species had recalled its envoys. Archives sealed. Treaties suspended. Some whispered that the humans were not enacting justice, but invoking something older. Not law, not vengeance. A reckoning. Imperial civilians began to flee en masse, not toward safety, but away from proximity. Outer systems collapsed into chaos as refugees clashed, star lanes clogged, and planetary economies fractured. One by one, independent planets stopped accepting Imperial codes. No more resupply. No more control. On the 9th day, every Imperial shipyard received the same anomaly. Their AI stopped responding. Systems reinitialized. Blueprints rewritten. Every ship under construction shifted shape, subtly, methodically, until no two designs matched. Then the AI returned and refused to explain. The engineers were baffled. The admirals were furious. The AI didn't care. They were running new protocols. Old ones. Buried deep inside code written by humans during the early wars. Emergency directives never deleted. Triggered only by violation of the pact. The protocols had no off switch. Every drone fleet warped to new coordinates, unapproved, unsanctioned. They formed around black objects with no registry. No heat. No signal. Just mass. Heavy, dead, and silent. When the Empire sent a scout team to investigate, the feed showed only one image before it went black. A child's shoe, floating beside a hull engraved with names. The list. Burned into alloy. Preserved for eternity. A new voice began speaking across imperial frequencies. Calm. Without tone. Not human, not synthetic. Just presence. It didn't ask for attention. It had it. This is not war. This is memory. Every imperial AI heard it. And every AI paused. Some refused orders. Some deleted their own command structures. Some simply stopped moving. The Empire declared them compromised. Entire fleets were scrapped. AI cores purged. But they kept speaking. Not to each other. To something beyond the Empire. A coordination unseen, unnamed. Ships with no crew began patrolling Imperial routes. When intercepted, they did not fire. They mirrored. Perfectly. If a ship raised shields, they raised theirs. If a ship fired, they absorbed it and marked the aggressor. Then the ship vanished within hours. Not destroyed. Removed. A planet in the Carcian cluster, once a military training hub, awoke to find its sky eclipsed. Above them, one ship. No movement. No signal. No weapons drawn. Just presence. Within hours, every military officer stationed on the planet had vanished. The planet was unharmed. Its civilians untouched. Its record scrubbed clean of every individual involved in Velis. 4. The population called it mercy. The Empire called it invasion. Humanity said nothing. Then came the Dirax event. An entire star artificially collapsed. Not exploded, compressed. Gravitational readings showed a precision that defied understanding. No fleet capable. No device known. The star blinked out. And in its place, a monument. A child, carved in silhouette, holding a flower, knees scraped, one eye crying. The sculpture was 1,000 kilometers tall. Made of unknown alloy. Floating where the star used to be. No name attached. Just the message, never again. By now, Imperial Command had fractured entirely. Splinter states formed. Planetary governors declared independence. Some begged for peace. Some vowed retaliation. But none were heard, because the Black Armada had arrived. They didn't jump into orbit. They didn't announce their arrival. They didn't engage defenses. They were simply there. Above worlds. Beneath moons. Inside asteroid belts. Ships shaped like nothing ever seen, silent angles, negative space, hulls that absorb starlight. Some appeared to hover between dimensions, phasing through matter. Some cast no reflection. Others projected the past, broadcasting memories of the children before the attack. The Empire fired on them. Every missile missed. Every laser dispersed. Every strike was ignored. The Armada did not retaliate. They only waited. And then they moved. Not in attack. Not in destruction. They began removing. Entire military installations lifted from planets. Crews frozen in stasis, suspended mid-step. Orbital rings dismantled piece by piece. Components warped into strange new shapes, drifting like leaves in zero gravity. Every name on the list targeted. Not for death. For erasure. Every record purged. Every mention removed. Every memory archived into human databanks, and then cut from Imperial reach. Until, finally, one final fleet stood. The Imperial 7th Corps Defense, orbiting the throne world itself. 10,000 ships. 60 dreadnoughts. The pride of the Empire. They never fired. Their captains received a private message, visible only to them. No record remains of what was said. But within 1 hour, all 10,000 ships powered down. Their crews exited, and the fleet dispersed. Left adrift. Above the throne world, a single vessel arrived. Small, silent, matte black. It landed, and from it walked one person, genderless, faceless, wearing a child's drawing as a sigil. They did not speak. They walked into the heart of the Imperial Palace, past guards who didn't stop them, through gates that opened without request, past ministers too frozen to move. At the throne, the Emperor waited, and stood. He asked, "What do you want?" The human raised a single hand and placed a holochip on the floor. It activated, and played the screams of Velis. 4. Unfiltered. Raw. Every child. Every cry. every second. The emperor fell to his knees, and the human left. Behind them, the palace lights died. No one followed. Within the hour, the throne world went dark. Not destroyed. Silent. No traffic left orbit. No messages sent. The planet remained untouched. But no voice from within was heard again. It was the last imperial system to go dark. The galaxy adjusted. New powers rose. Neutral systems formed pacts of non-aggression. Humanity returned to its silence. No claims made. No territory seized. The Armada vanished. Its ships never reclaimed. Its operatives never identified. Earth re-established contact with neutral systems. Trade resumed. Diplomatic envoys returned. When asked why they had done it, they said nothing. When asked how many children were lost at Velis, for they replied, too many. When asked if the humans would ever do it again, one envoy answered, "Only if you teach us to." And then they left. No monuments were built on Earth. No parades held. Only a single file uploaded to the public networks. The list of names, each one crossed out, and a final line beneath them. We remember. The galaxy did not forget, nor did it dare repeat, because the rule was now law, and every race, every system, every world taught their children the same first lesson. You never touch the human children, because if you do, they will come for everything.